When I walk the campus grounds, I feel a tremendous sense of loss and grief. The usual energy and clamour of inspired young minds at work, which usually fill our corridors and playgrounds, is eerily absent. It is our community working and being together that gives our school life. This disconnection from routine, coupled with feelings of fear for our own family's health and people's economic loss, have become the loud noises we hear. We are all wired to want to feel connected to each other. When students feel connected to each other, their family and the wider community, they find greater purpose and meaning in their lives and greater academic success. What happens when we lose this connection? What are the short and long-term effects of isolation, socially and academically? We still don't know. But what we do know is that our students, young men of faith and integrity, have come together and shown resilience and adapted to change in these challenging times. And for that, I'm proud to be your principal.
The first confirmed positive case has now been detected in Australia.
The sentiment amongst the community and the parents of Waverley, bit of a frazzle to start with.
I felt it was quite daunting at first and a bit unsettling, only because we've never experienced anything like this before.
I remember being in maths class, just not taking it seriously at all, just sort of having a laugh about it. But like as it went on and they started to call things off, like it got pretty serious, and everyone was sort of a bit shocked like how it actually affected everyone.
Being young people, we weren't as vulnerable to it, so we weren't really thinking about how it would affect others. We were only thinking about that it wouldn't affect us as much.
We were getting a lot of messages from the government and the media about what was actually happening with the virus, and that was something really new and a little bit scary for all of us.
The health advice here, supported by all the premiers, all the chief ministers and my government, is that schools should remain open.
Our planning the event of a school closure continues apace and is progressing well. Members of the college leadership team are meeting daily to make decisions based on the new information, expert advice, and our own risk assessments. Circumstances will change, so we may also change our response as the situation develops. We are planning for all eventualities, and we will keep you informed if we need to move to online learning.
So my initial thoughts and feelings were of apprehension. We weren't really sure initially how online learning was going to work for us as a school. We had to plan in a very short period of time. We ran lunchtime sessions every day for 2 weeks that staff were able to attend so that they could upskill themselves in things like Google Forms and Education Perfect and all the online learning apps that we were planning to use.
Should you send your child to school today? The Prime Minister says children should go to school, but parents can keep them home if they want to.
Welcome back. Schools across the country remain open today, but their future is uncertain. It must be a very confusing time, both for parents and for teachers, regarding whether or not to keep these schools open.
We have a very confusing situation which leads to real problems in our schools that really need to know exactly what's going on so that they can operate in a fair and meaningful way.
On the 23rd of March, the New South Wales Premier announced that all New South Wales schools will remain open for essential workers. However, parents are being encouraged to keep their children at home. In response to these government directives, Waverley College has ceased all face-to-face learning and moved to online learning. We have made this decision in the best interests of both care of students, staff and families, and the importance that we place on continued learning of students.
The day that we found out that we were moving to off-campus learning started with the Premier's announcement that all students were expected to work from home. With that came a sense of relief as well. I finally realised then we could start our off-campus learning and then we would be refining our practice as we went along.
When they shut down the school, I was like, whoa, this is really serious. Yeah.
How did that make you feel?
Pretty scared.
Thank you for the colossal amount of work that you've all undertaken in the last few weeks. You've successfully transferred the delivery of our teaching and learning with great flexibility, resilience, adaptability, flair and creativity. So you should be very proud of yourselves.
In a period of 3 days, 128 teachers, 4 stages of learning, over 100 subjects, 1,500 boys, we moved from a face-to-face to an online platform. It is absolutely humbling, the work that you've all done.
Good morning, happy Tuesday, everyone.
Good morning, Brennan. Welcome back to Term 2. It's good to see all your smiling faces.
Good morning to O'Connor staff and students from both the junior and senior school.
Just welcoming you back and expressing my thanks to you all for your great efforts in Term 1.
Firstly, welcome back to Term 2, or from years 5 to year 12. I've really missed seeing everyone at school each day.
There's been a mix of responses from students and with how they've coped with online learning.
Online learning for me has basically it's been more work than we would at school. It's been harder to stay organised and to stay accountable without that structure from school.
I'm more of a visual learner myself, so I was unable to bounce off my mates and ask my teachers questions whenever I wanted to, so I actually found it quite difficult.
You know, even as clever as the boys can be at times, they still have found it difficult because they've missed that. I think we all need that face-to-face contact.
I guess I'm more aware of the impact that teachers actually have. A good teacher at school face-to-face is so much more valuable than good resources.
Definitely shown me I'm not a teacher.
I left lots of post-it notes for Adam and Charlie all over the table, time of Google Meets for Charlie, things that he had to get done that day. So I think they were probably glad when I left the house to go to work.
It's one of those things that I sort of just went in, you know what, no one knows what's happening, just get in, do your best.
Coping with isolation has been it's been tough for the senior students. Coping with it has basically been the goal of just your HSC and finishing school.
Apart from the study side, I think one of the biggest things that Year 12 are missing is that human connection with their peers. For a lot of them, it's their last chance to be leaders in the school and the last chance to participate in co-curricular activities like running out on a field for sport, performing on a stage or marching with their cadet unit.
Initially it was, I guess we were a bit worried, especially with Will being in Year 12 at Waverley and having different goals he wanted to achieve throughout the year with both academically and sport.
For Year 12 boys, it's their rite of passage, isn't it? To have opportunities to celebrate the coming to the end of their school life. It's very important for them. They won't get another chance.
Juggling everything that's been going on at the moment, including working, feeding the children, helping them with their schoolwork and also keeping the house in order, has been very busy. But it's also been a really great time for us to all slow down as a family and to spend some really great quality time together.
We were able to adapt, to change, learn to trust, don't overthink anything, keep the faith, keep things simple. Don't worry about the things you can't control.
When you're doing Google Hangouts and recording them at home, having a couple of very rambunctious pets and dogs, they tend to want to fight and want to wrestle at those specific times when I'm doing those classrooms because I'm not paying them the attention that they want. Me bring that up.
You had pet day, didn't you? You had to have your dog on the on your lap for the pet day. You had to wear a funny hat day.
Oh yeah, Easter bonnet.
Easter bonnet parade.
I'd be down at the kitchen getting ready for work, and one of the children would come down in pyjama pants and their school top. So they'd been obviously online check-in and they had to wear their school uniforms.
Yes, there have been some very interesting haircuts and facial hair going on. Got Boys gone bleach their hair blonde like Tiger King. They've got the beards going, they've got the goatees going. But yeah, it's expressing themselves that they can at home when they can't do it at school.
I know some of the boys that are our current students, when they're parents and grandparents, they'll certainly be making statements like, I remember when I was a teenager living through the pandemic and there was no toilet paper.
The New South Wales government has set out its plan to reopen schools. It comes after the state recorded just 6 new cases in the past 24 hours.
And what they'll do is introduce them into school 1 day a week and then gradually build that up to hopefully a full return to school by the beginning of term 3.
Welcome back again. Thank you for being here this morning. The correspondence that I put out on Friday to all staff and to parents and students basically has set an agenda where we're moving towards a rent-free return for our 12s, a combination of our 5 and 6s, and then 1 other year level per day. I talked about being agile in that letter on Friday, and I guess I still leave that out there, as in we need to adapt to what's going to change, and it's changing on a daily basis, as you can see.
I actually never thought I'd say this, but I'm actually pretty excited to come back to school.
I really miss the fun and excitement that the boys bring to every lesson.
I never thought I'd say this, definitely not younger me would say this, but very glad to go back for sure. Glad to be in the classroom and learn. Glad to see my mates, glad to see my teachers.
They're craving to get out. They're craving to have that interaction with their friends again.
When we do return to the new normal, I hope we don't lose that wonderful opportunity that we've got to make some positive changes as individuals, as a school community, and also as a wider part of the global community.